All right, all right. Good morning, Facebook friend. Yes, indeed. All right. Where you at? Oh, we in there now. Come on. All right. All right. Oh, there we go. There we go. Hey, hey, Sharon. I see you, sister. We get ready to get them started. Yeah, we get ready to get them started. Uh-huh. Good morning, sister. Let me share. Uh-huh. Okay. Get this thing started. Oh, yeah. Let's watch it party. All right. Get ready to get my theme music going. Yeah. Right, some people in there. Missionaries are in there. Get my card. Better get this thing started. Sucky. Yeah. Where my theme music? Time to get my theme music on there, y'all. All right. What is that? Oh, no, that's not it. Okay. All right. Got the theme music going? Yeah. All right. Put the camera on so I can see me. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye. I'm your third eye optometrist, Patrice Gibbs. And as usual, like I always tell you right here on WHGE 95.3 FM, the education station. Oh, we got plenty for you. We got plenty for you today. Yeah, I'm going to start off first before I really get into it. Let me help some people out. I got an announcement here on my phone. Let me see, what was that about? Oh yeah, today from 11 to 3 at Greatness Church on Frenchtown Road, they are having COVID-19 testing. That's today from 11 to 3. All right, let me get right into it. Your third eye optometrist, saddened today by the shootings that went on this week. Fix my camera here. Let me see here because I tend to lean in. All right, might have to fix that up when my co-host comes in. But anyway, by the shootings that went on this week, 2 young people were killed. 17-year-old boy. Notice when I mention the 17-year-olds, I don't refer to them as young adults. They're still children. 23-year-old young lady was killed. There were like 5, maybe 6 shootings this week. One hit a little too close to home, as it was right outside of the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Fortunately, the young man wasn't killed. However, he is in critical condition. 17, I said young man, 17-year-old boy. He's a child, you know, and the likelihood is that he was killed by, or excuse me, he was shot by another young boy. That's the likelihood. You know, there are those that believe maybe there's turf wars going on, gang wars amongst our children and young people, young adults and what have you. There is the feeling that maybe one of these came out of, you know, a dispute or some beef or something. We really don't know, I'm not sure here. But at any rate, today there will be an anti-violence march on 3rd and Clayton. That's 3rd and Clayton. That's at the 3rd and Clayton Street Park on the west side. That'll be today at 1 p.m. You know, turn out and help those of us that are protesting against the violence in our own community. I know when people hear the shootings, they amongst our own, they want to say, well, how can we fight police brutality and go around hollering Black Lives Matter when they don't seem to matter to those in our own community? You know, I really hate to hear that, and as painful as it is when there's violence in our community and young lives are lost, we still have to realize violence is a learned condition. This is not the norm for our people. And another thing, you know, I hate to hear that black on black violence, because violence takes place within the community that you're closest to. Those that commit violence against their own commit violence usually within their own community. So yes, there is black on black violence. There's Hispanic on Hispanic violence. There's Asian on Asian violence. There's white on white violence. But let's go a little further with that, because there is white on everybody else violence. Be clear about that. Be very clear about that. Which is why we have to deal with the police brutality. I know those of you that see me on Facebook Live, see me shuffling through my papers, as I often do. Don't worry about it, but I like to keep my story straight. I often write it down or print it out so that I say what I mean and make sure I mean what I say. With the police brutality going on, of course the police are reacting to that. You know, the cops aren't wearing their uniforms to and from work right now because they're afraid someone might attack them or their families. Can you imagine that? Living with the constant fear of being killed by a complete stranger because to them you look like a threat. Yeah, I paused for a minute so you could think about that. Let me repeat that. Living with a constant fear of being killed by a complete stranger because to them you look like a threat. This is something that we as black people have been living with since we hit the shores of America. Isn't it something how the most murderous group of people, white supremacists, and I don't just mean the KKK, but the dominant society at large, which has been the most violent group of people on the land, committed genocide against the Indians, slavery against black people, terrorism against black people, have convinced the world that we are violent and dangerous. Yeah. So cops aren't wearing their uniforms to work because they're afraid someone might attack them. Well, you know what? You can take off that uniform, right? Yeah. I can't take off this beautiful black skin and have no intentions of trying. The Open Eye is brought to you by the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, the founders and builders of the Pearl Center, Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, changing veterans' lives all over Delaware. I'm Patrice Gibbs. Hey, what's up? All right. Any content provided by foreign households, guests or contributors are theirs and are not intended WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. We're getting it together here. I'm joined by my co-host, partner in consciousness, Nsoromma. He is hooking up some equipment. You heard his battle cry, Yaga! Yeah, that's right. While Nsoromma getting it together here, all right, making sure we got our ducks in a row. I want to ask you something. You know, I like to deal with our history. You know, and before I do that, I got to give some shout outs. I want Nsoromma to make sure he gives some shout outs. Okay. First, I want to give a shout out to a brother that helps keep the community informed, Jakeem Muhammad. Brother, we appreciate your knowledge, introspection, and wisdom in keeping the community informed. True warrior. Earlier this week, I saw an interview that featured Nsoromma, my brother, and his partner, Brother Smooth. And tell us a little about that and get that host a shout out there, Nsoromma.
First of all, what's good, everybody? What's good? What's good, everybody? What's good? What's good, everybody?
Good morning, good morning.
Yaga! Yo, listen. I want to shout out Thomas Thomas. You know, the Thomas show. He just basically opening our eyes and to the people and making them aware of what's going on in our community also.
Yeah.
On the same level, on the same note. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Thomas.
Big
You know
us, brother.
True.
That's a great interview, y'all.
Mr. Deezy.
All right. And like I said, just, you know, recognizing those warriors in the community that keep us informed.
That's right.
Yes, indeed. All right. Now, you know, here on Open Eye, and this is something they mentioned during that interview on the Timeless show. One of the things that we do is we remind you of our history. Did you know in 1873, after the Civil War, during the height of Reconstruction, whites swindled blacks out of $57 million from the Freedmen's Bank, which was given to former slaves by Congress. The Freedmen's Bank was a bank that, for the first time, the former slaves were involved in economic endeavors, banking their money. $57 million would be worth well over $1 billion in today's money. And you think we don't got some reparations, something? Are you kidding me? Shh. Moving right along. One of the things that my brother Nsoromma mentions is that our history did not start with slavery. Okay? And those of you that know me know that I'm a student of Egyptian history.
Yeah.
And scholars falsify, do all kind of things with Egyptian history, claim that Egypt was built by Europeans and Asians and everybody but the Africans.
Everybody want to put their own story in.
Yeah, oh yeah, they want to put their own thing in there, which is just ridiculous,
Right?
Now, our historians like Dr. Clark, Dr. Gann, great Chancellor Williams, and others called Egypt Ethiopia's oldest daughter. Now, I know when you think of Ethiopia, you think of the northwest country, but at that time, Ethiopia, which means burnt face,
right,
really meant the whole of African civilization. Now, Egyptologists, archaeologists, historians cannot find, nor can they pinpoint Egypt's primitive state. Now, there's a simple explanation for that. Egypt had no primitive state. The Egyptian or Kemetic Empire came into existence in the full bloom of its technological adulthood, which is something that a lot of people don't understand. See, what happened was a group of families from Nubia, from the south,
right,
moved north with their sciences already intact when they began the Kemetic or Egyptian civilization.
And that's what I was telling, not to go off point, and that's what I was telling Brother Beezy, Yorkie. They have historians that play in the movies, Tomb Raider and all the movies. And I was telling him, yo, the brother that I'm running with is a real historian. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you really out there counting the grains of the sand. You know what I'm saying? Go and see if it's really the real sand.
That's right.
So, yo, I was really telling him that, and he was like, well, where is he from? You know
Oh, yeah, that's another thing, brother. I'm right here, Wilmington, Delaware, born and raised here. I didn't stay here all the time, but I've been born and raised here. That's right. Well, contrary to the mythologies of Western historians, the Africans were actually great travelers, traders. They were global, and they educated and colonized the world and left their mark all over the globe. Right. This is why there are pyramids in the West, which were built long after the Egyptians built the pyramids in Egypt. Their influence included societal structure, urban planning, architecture, spirituality, and even attire. Look at the Native Americans' attire and symbolisms. The Kemetic influence is glaring. It's right there in your face.
And as they was digging and digging up tombs and stuff like that. I'll call it grave stealing, robbing. But and putting it in the museums, they find it as they go further back within the history of our time. The history of the world, right? They finding that it's becoming a more blacker. It's going blacker and blacker and blacker.
The blacker it gets.
Yeah. So that's why they really stopped digging. You don't hear none of that no more. It's some reasons for the madness.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And by the time Alexander the Macedonian, there's nothing great about him. I don't call him Alexander the Great. When he finally came and conquered Egypt, it was a society well in decline. It was barely a shadow of its former greatness. Now, what Western historians fail to mention about Alexander the Great or Alexander the Macedonian, Alexander, I got some choice names for him, go ahead on, is that when Nubian ruler Queen Candace drew a line in the sand, she dared Alexander to cross it. She told him, come on down here into Nubia. Alexander knew better and backed off and went on back home. The decline of the Egyptian Kemetic Empire was caused by extraordinarily strong leadership, followed by periods of weak leadership and corruption. The empire had practically imploded long before any normally inferior conquerors like the Greeks or Romans invaded. Okay, long before that. So that is just, you know, a little history lesson for you right here on the Open Eye Radio Show. All right, all right. Okay. Let's see. Let us get to some other stuff here. All right. I had mentioned, I don't know if you heard it, I want to let it be known again that there will be a march at 1 o'clock today on 3rd and Clayton on the west side, August the 1st, an anti-violence march. Because we are getting tired of our young people doing the things that they're doing, hurting themselves. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
This is
WHGE 95.3 FM. Yeah.
all right, all right. Technology ain't no joke, is it? Yeah.
We did this already.
Yeah, I did that.
Good job. Like, that's good. Very good. That's awesome. Okay. Yo, what's up, Peyton? I see y'all. Hey, yo, good tuning in, good looking out. You know, like he said, it's gonna be a parade, right? A march.
A march.
A march.
Anti-violence march.
Anti-violent march. You know what I'm
3rd and
saying?
Clayton Street.
3rd and Clayton Street.
Day of 1.
Today at 1, Wilmington, Delaware. Those who are around, come support. You know what I mean?
Big time.
That's right. And yo, also, Nsoromma dash topic. You can go get that. You can go get the CD. It's out now. Mr. Gibbs got a couple tracks on there. Go peep it. Go peep it. You know what I'm saying? Support the black-owned businesses.
Yeah. All right, all right. That was finger scratching.
Mr. Gibbs.
I'm Mr. Gibbs.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Sound real nice.
Yeah. Now it's August the 1st, so it's been a couple of months now. We celebrated Juneteenth.
Right.
Okay. Now Juneteenth, for those of you who don't know, is the celebration commemorating the real end of slavery, when those who were lastly enslaved in Texas finally found out 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation that they were no longer slaves. And so we celebrate Juneteenth as the true end of slavery. Okay, now those of us that celebrate it, they want it to be celebrated nationwide. And some cities doing this year for the first time actually adopted the Juneteenth celebration, call it a holiday, gave their citizens a day off and what have you. Okay,
Right.
so it was, you know, a day off in some cities and states and what have you, and that's okay. However,
that should have been a national holiday, basically, right?
Right. Yeah,
Sure.
there it goes, you know. Well, of course, the bill came up in Congress again to make Juneteenth a national holiday. Well,
Okay.
Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson blocked the bipartisan effort, meaning Republicans and Democrats were with it. He blocked the effort to make Juneteenth a federal holiday, saying it would cost too much.
Wow. And they make money. Listen to the people that make money telling you it costs too
It
much.
costs too much.
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something, bro.
You know, that's like your parents. You know your parents got some money in their pocket, and you want some ice cream, and you go, can I get some ice cream? And you know they got a pocket full. The ice cream 50 cents.
Yeah.
You know that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
It is, you know. But I'm gonna tell you something though, bro. Actually, I don't give a damn whether the federal government celebrates or recognizes our holiday or not. We don't need those racist asses up in the you know, in the Capitol and this, that, in DC to celebrate a damn thing. Because look, don't let that stop us. You know what? And I even thought this about Dr. King's birthday, bro.
Right.
You know, we got to have a federal holiday. See, and this is the thing. I'm gonna tell you something. What it became, what Dr. King's birthday has become. You know, it's basically a day off. It's not really commemorating Dr. King.
It's not even his birthday.
It's not even his birthday.
That's how they manipulating you too. So they say, yo, well, when's Martin Luther King's birthday? You'll think it's the holiday, and it's not. I mean, that's how deep it goes with the deception of their knowledge of you really knowing about who your people are.
That's right. You know, and you know they say, well, you call it a day of service, but it really is a 3-day weekend for most people.
Wow.
You know, who socialize themselves through service. You know, saying that just because Dr. King was service to his mankind. What Dr. King was about was the liberation of his people. Don't get that mess mixed up, y'all. You know? So when we celebrate Juneteenth, we're celebrating the liberation of black people out of slavery, finally. You know? And, you know, we can have barbecues and this, that, and the other and do whatever it is we do, you know, instead of going in on the 4th of July and celebrating the liberation of some gangsters from Britain who celebrated their, you know, who celebrated their liberation from the gangsters, from their parent family of gangsters.
I'm trying to keep your words in.
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
Yeah.
Look, if the United States, with the mess that's going on, if the United States saw what the United States is doing in the United States, the United States would invade the United States to liberate the United States from the tyranny of the United States. This is the open eye.
True that. You ain't getting it nowhere else but right here. This is
only place.
The real. This is the real.
This is the real. Right here. Right here. WHGE 95.3
FM.
Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma in the building.
It's big. Shit, we getting with y'all.
That's right.
We got some stuff coming up. Don't you worry about it. And listen to the music because it gives you an idea of what we're going to be doing around here.
That's right.
Nsoromma. The classes is messing me up.
I know this drops. Keep going.
Yeah. Okay, nigga.
Keep going.
I will do that.
Hey, April. What's up, baby? What's happening? Sherry. Yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, where my homegirl at?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we
Oh,
Sherry
in the house.
What's up? I can't see him. I can't see him.
Yes,
What's up, good morning? What's up, Sherry?
Yeah, brother Boy in the house. What's up, brother Boy?
Where the stroll at? I can't see all the people with us. Yo, what up?
Yeah.
Jose,
Jose.
what's good?
Shabbat Shalom, family. All right.
That's
All
right. Yeah.
That's right.
WHGE. Yeah.
Verona by Nsoromma. Well, the Orange Disaster has a favorite doctor.
The Orange Disaster.
The Orange Disaster.
He just started wearing masks too. He like,
oh yeah,
he really didn't want them putting nothing on.
No, he didn't want people putting them on either.
Yeah, he knew. He was like, yo, this is it's just gonna go away.
Yeah,
because you just put it here. You know what I'm saying? Oh
well,
God!
Let me tell you. All right, Sherry Bryson, cousin Sherry, my Facebook cousin, my favorite
cousin.
She helped me out with this. All right. Remember Herman Cain?
Herman
Cain, yeah, brother. He ran for president a couple of times. What have you? He was the CEO of Godfather Pizza.
I can't remember. But yeah.
I want to call him a black man, but he was actually a Negropean. Yeah, he's actually a Negropean. And the Trump rally they had, where was it? Oh, in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Oh, he was there with no mask on. Yeah, he didn't have no mask on. 72 years old, and he's one of those at-risk people.
And he was out there trying to kill himself, basically.
Well, he did. So much for the virus.
Well, he did.
Yeah, he did, unfortunately. So much for the virus being a hoax. Herman Cain died from the COVID-19 coronavirus because he listened to the Orange Disaster. He listened to 45.
He ain't go home and try to treat it with the disinfectant and the bleach and all that.
Whatever he did, it didn't work. He's believing
wow.
45 to be something the Democrats came up with, didn't do no social distancing, didn't wear a mask. Well, COVID-19 proved him wrong. But I doubt that the rest of 45's fan base will change their mind, since they think that 45 can do or say nothing wrong. Cult 45, you know what a cult is when people read some BS and what have you. People cult 45, that's what they call them.
Wow.
The Trump supporters. People
they call them Colt 45.
Colt 45.
And right? a Colt 45 is a gun too. So
well, this is cult.
Yeah, like a cult. Like everybody drink this juice.
Yeah, exactly. People blindly following and having an insane, misplaced admiration for a narcissistic, misogynist who don't give a damn about anyone.
Well, you know what his sister said in the book?
His niece.
His niece? Oh, well. Yeah. Well, she know.
Yeah,
she probably was raped.
Who knows? With this nasty bastard.
What her memoir say? You got
she said stay away from his ass.
Yeah, his whole family stay away. Yeah.
She's a psychiatrist with a PhD. And she said he crazy as hell.
Yo, that's what
crazy as hell.
You only on Friday right here.
Right. And she ought to know, she not only is she family, but she went to school to diagnose his crazy ass.
Wow.
Now, this Houston doctor, I was going to bring this up first, but I'm going to bring it up now. This Houston doctor who praises that hydrochloroquine and says that face masks aren't necessary to stop transmissions of a highly contagious virus, the coronavirus.
Wow.
And she became a star to the right-wing media. By the way, she's a Negropean bed wench. Believe that. And she's garnering millions of views on Facebook.
Wow.
The Orange Disaster declared the video of Stella Emanuel a must-watch. And it gets worse. It gets worse. She's a pediatrician and a religious minister. Watch out. You know what? She's one of these people that think the church should control the world. Well, we had a time in history when the church controlled the world.
Wow.
It was called the Dark Ages.
Wow.
For a damn reason. Kept people in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a history of making bizarre claims about medical topics and other issues. She claims that gynecological problems like cysts and endometriosis are
endometriosis.
Yeah, endometriosis. You know, it's a woman's problem, is a rule. Stuff that go on down there. Are in fact caused by people having sex in their dreams with demons and witches.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know what to call her. I call her a Negro peeing big wench, but this is a goddamn nut. She alleges that alien DNA is currently used in medical treatments. You know what? And scientists are cooking up a vaccine to prevent people from being religious. And despite appearing in Washington, D.C. to lobby Congress, she has said that the government is run in part by humans, not by humans, but by reptilians and other aliens. Jeez Louise. You know, and she gave her viral speech on the steps of the Supreme Court at the White Coat Summit, a gathering of a handful of doctors who call themselves America's frontline doctors and dispute.
Right.
You know, in her speech, she alleges that she has successfully treated hundreds of patients, and she's a liar. That's her. This woman just ain't got no shame, no damn integrity. Just a sorry excuse, man.
That's crazy how they find I say the sickest people in our culture and exploit the junk out of them.
Yeah,
man.
that's what they
crazy.
Do. That's what
but you won't find a person that's level-minded and thinking like every other human in the world that want good and to prosper and evolution. You know, you can't put them up front.
No.
I mean, that's a bad thing. You know what I'm saying?
You know, that's just crazy.
That's crazy.
That is just crazy. You know?
Yeah, that's crazy. It's Hill, what's good, Hill? You know, Pat at it again. He at it again. We got these new toys. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep you clean. But listen, hey, yo, you want your question answer? Call. You'll get the real answer. Or type it in. You know what I'm saying? Hit the link.
That's right. We just doing what we do now.
That's right.
What we do.
It ain't no games.
We ain't play fighting.
Word.
All right. Look, Sherry hit me with the hey, hey, sister. You know I got love and respect.
Yeah.
That's right. WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
On the Open Eye.
WHGE 95.3.
Yeah. Look, now, a lot of the protests are still going on, y'all. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Ain't slowed up. Corona's still going on. Everything's still going on.
That's right. Don't back up.
Racism, everything. Ain't nothing slowed up. Ain't nothing stopped.
That's right. You know, but of course, white supremacy trying to fight back. So in Richmond, riots have been instigated by white supremacists disguised as Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah.
You don't get no news footage, no news coverage on that.
Oh, no.
That's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
just let him, just be quiet.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, we're going to tell you what's going on. Riots in downtown Richmond last weekend were instigated by white supremacists under the guise of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And the cops caught them. Mm-hmm.
They put on the Black Lives Matter uniforms and black stuff and the look of the Black Lives Matter movement, and then they insert these rebels.
Well, the cops arrested 6 people. And the mayor of Richmond thanked the Black Lives Matter protesters. He said try to stop the white supremacists from spearheading the violence.
That's right. Now, what kind of time did they get? I guarantee you they didn't get any time. They just got locked up and sent home.
Yeah.
That is a terroristic act. It really, I think they should have been right. I think they should be extreme to the full extreme prejudice of the law to that situation.
Absolutely. Now, here's the crazy thing: is you got to watch these Negro pens because they are actually in on, you know, they're surrogate white supremacists. What Negro pens are, and you know they've been doing things to their own people, and when they get caught up in it, they sometimes don't know what to do with themselves. Now you got some that are such true believers like Sheriff Clark, who is just a goddamn fool. And then you got the newly promoted Chicago police chief who killed himself.
Oh, you know why he killed himself?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they doing all their mischief and all their devilish acts, and then when they come to, okay, we got some evidence on you, Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
They want to shoot themselves, jump out the window, walk in front of a train. Nah.
Yeah. Deputy Chief Dion Boyd, he was promoted to police chief. Now, he was promoted less than 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
But somebody dug up some of his dirt. Then there's really no way, you know, Police Superintendent Brown said there's no way to convey the magnitude of this loss. Brown confessed while remembering the 57-year-old who was discovered in the Holman Square police facility. He killed himself in the police. They shocked and saddened.
Wow. They wasn't shocked and saddened when all the other people hung themselves in the prison system that they bought in from off the street on just a regular charge.
That's right. Now he made it all the way up to deputy chief, promoted to police chief. Okay, and you know the Chicago Police Department stopped short of linking Boyd's suicide to the ongoing protests over police brutality taking place in Chicago and all over the nation.
Wow.
See, what then happened is that guilt came down on it.
Yeah.
See, Chicago was one of the worst places for police brutality in the country.
Wow.
Because Chicago, long before these federal agents came up with doing this stuff, Chicago had these locations where they would snatch brothers off the street and not charge them with anything.
What?
Yeah. And take them to these locations and hold them for weeks, even months, torture and beat them and do all kinds, murder them.
Wow.
You know, and one of these police sergeants involved in that mess, it came out what he was doing. You know, like he was the only one doing
Just
it.
think if they wouldn't, well, he got caught. It had to be a team of them. This is an orchestrated plan.
That's right.
It ain't just one person.
It wasn't just one person.
I mean, this is an orchestrated plan, man.
Yep.
So that's how deep it goes.
That's how deep it goes. And like I often warn people, as long as he got on that uniform, don't give his pigmentation no consideration. That's right. This is the Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
The Open Eye Radio Show.
Yaga!
Oh, did you bring that?
I'm in the wrong car. I came out the house and jumped in the bed.
WHGE 95.3 FM.
Timeless Tommy has Implosion, which is Nsoromma and Smooth. All right.
Yeah.
And that cut you just heard was Doing It by Nsoromma. All right. The judge, it's been oh, it's been like 40 days
40 days since what?
since Breonna Taylor was
Taylor.
killed in Kentucky. And the judge just ordered the city to turn over the radio recordings from her shooting, from her murder.
I mean, like, you can see the injustice. If it was a white young lady that got killed in her bed while she was asleep,
Mhm.
isn't that her story?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
I
been
mean,
actually
the
it's been
next
4
day-
months.
the next day they would have had some information for the public.
Right.
They would have had a suspect.
At least. Right.
You know what I'm
These
saying?
4
So,
cops that were
this just goes
involved.
to tell you, this is why the protesters got to go on and get even stronger, because they still don't recognize and don't care about humanity.
Mhm.
Not just our black lives, but humanity. I mean, this is a crazy world right now.
Right. Right.
I want my grandkids to get older and be more responsible in the world, not tearing it up some more.
You know. Well, actually, it's been 4 months. I said 40 days. It's been 4
Wow,
months.
4 months of no
Yeah.
justice,
Since-
no nothing.
Right. Since Breonna Taylor was shot in her home.
Now, if all our family members start going around shooting people in their home, it'll be a pandemonium and all this other stuff, just on the revenge of the fact that ain't nobody doing nothing.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Mhm.
crazy, man.
And of course, her case has received national attention. Now, a couple of weeks ago, protesters in Kentucky
Uh-huh.
went in front of the house of the Attorney General Daniel Cameron,
Right.
who is basically refusing to arrest Breonna Taylor's killers. Now, for those of you that don't
Wow.
know, Daniel Cameron is a Republican. He's the Attorney General. And I'm not going to call him a black man. He's a broken Negro peon.
That's
And,
messy, man.
yeah, that's word. You know, he is actually a protege of Mitch McConnell in Kentucky. Mitch McConnell, one of the worst senators to ever sit in the Senate. And
One of the worst.
One of the worst. I mean,
Wow.
this is one sorry son of a bitch. And this Negro peon is his protege. He calls him his mentor.
Wow.
34 years old and just as dumb as a brick.
A brick.
Yep. You know? And I'm telling you, this dude is just a piece of dung, man. I'm sorry, dude, man. You know? And he gets up to, well, black should
I
be
told you
Republican.
they find them.
They
They're
find
going
them.
to find them.
Ain't that amazing?
They will find them, yo.
They sure do.
Put a suit on them and everything. Make
Yeah.
them look good
Yeah.
and all of that. Yeah.
Young brother, sorry, excuse for a black, 34 years old.
Man,
Someone that we should be celebrating, that we should be proud of.
right.
But you can't be proud of some crap like this. You can't be proud of nothing like this, what this man is doing, blocking the arrest and bringing to justice 4 murderers of a young black woman minding her business in her own home, and these fools ran up in there under the pretense of some drugs or some crap going on, which her or her mate had nothing to do with. These were working people trying to raise their family.
Now, what about if the so-called drug dealers and gang bangers run up in the wrong house and do that to these police officers and stuff like that treat them wrong and do them wrong, and they have revenge on them, and they run up in I mean,
Yeah.
come on, man, you better start thinking it.
Yeah.
This can land on your own doorstep. This is no joke. I mean,
That's
people are getting tired of this. You better start acting like the justice system works, or the justice system won't exist anymore.
Right.
And then what you're going to do?
Mhm.
Everybody can get a gun. Everybody can get a knife. You're not the only one that can set up bombs and stuff like that. This is it.
Yeah.
The internet has everything on it. So, yo,
Better wake up.
yeah, you better
Because
wake up.
just like Nsoromma asked, and I'm going to answer the question. What if there was some black man that did that?
Right. That's
Right.
what I'm
They
saying.
fire up old Rusty, the electric chair.
Man.
Or, shoot him up with some drugs and kill him. That's
That's right.
That's
man.
what they do nowadays. You
Wow.
know? But I tell you what, those 87 protesters that ran up on Daniel Cameron's lawn and were charged and locked up, they let them go.
Of course, they let them go. They ain't give them no time. They ain't give them nothing.
Because they didn't do nothing wrong when they ran up protesting the fact that this Negro Peon wouldn't prosecute Breonna Taylor's murderers. They did nothing wrong.
If they ran up on his house with cocktails and threw busting on the See, you gotta think how deep it can go, man. This is not a game. You playing with people's feelings, emotion, and the family.
That's right.
This is the realest you can get.
This is exactly what it is. You know, now, and the thing is getting so deep that it's waking people up that we were pointing at and say, "Oh, you saw an excuse for it, so brother." All right, because Michael Jordan, basketball great Michael Jordan, who has been roundly criticized for his failure to speak up on black issues, has woken up. And he said, look, him and his Jordan brand have announced $2.5 million donation to combat black voter suppression. Now, some people might say it's too little, too late, especially those that are against voting. Will say, well, that don't mean nothing because we don't need to be voting. Yes, you do need to vote, especially on the local level.
Yes, definitely vote. We definitely promote voting because that you are the change. You are the difference. You can be the last vote that matters.
That's right.
So definitely.
So as part of his commitment to donate $100 million over the next decade to fight systemic racism, Michael Jordan and Jordan Brand announced Wednesday they are donating $2.5 million to 3 partners to combat black voter suppression. The NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund and the formerly incarcerated and convicted people and families movement will receive $1 million each. Now, that formerly incarcerated and convicted people and families movement, what they're doing is they're trying to get the vote back to ex-felons. Those that, their vote was taken once you're convicted of a felon.
Right.
You can no longer vote. Okay. But
that was another part of their plan.
Right.
And locking up the black individual, the black man. To stop them from voting, to stop them from being able to use their voice and their civilianship to be citizenship to be a asset,
right?
To be able to make a change.
So hey, I'm not gonna give him a great big hand of applause, but I ain't gonna say too little, too late. I will recognize.
I just say, yo, come home, homie. Come
home. I heard that.
Come on, everybody that's out there in on that, and it's wrong. Come on home.
Now, the orange disaster now, and this is just shows you why it's so true what Nsoromma is saying here about voting. Okay, he suggests that we delay the 2020 U.S. presidential election. Because see, he don't want to leave. He's there. He decided he's going to stay there, but see, he don't have the power.
He said, look, this black, has been in office 8 years. I ain't going to let him outdo me. I'll do whatever it is for us to go past this November 4th vote. You understand?
Yep.
If we got to shut the government down, that's what we're doing. And that's where he at. He's not going to let Obama outdo him. He stopped everything Obama has put into effect. So you think he going to let Obama do 8 years and he do 4? He'll do everything in his power to make that numbers whatever he want them to be. I don't care what nobody say. This is what we're dealing with. We have to understand that. So unless all of us get together like we did to get Obama in office again, we have to do that to get him out of office. If that don't come together, it'll never work.
I believe what's going to happen is the U.S. Marshals is going to have to march his ass out of there because he does not have the power to delay the vote. Only Congress can do that, and both houses of Congress have to be in on that.
Now, you do know that I know but most people don't know that the government is a corporation.
Right.
Okay, a corporation has a CEO.
That's
the CEO tell you everything and what to do. I don't care. At the last decision, the CEO makes the decision.
Right. But the CEO has to deal with a board of directors.
Okay, then
That's
he'll go and listen to the board of directors,
Yeah.
but as a CEO, it's still my decision. I don't care what the board of directors say.
Yeah.
All right now.
All right,
So as the board of directors state their claim,
Right.
they can only state a claim.
Right.
And that's it. And it's my decision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Well,
I hear
I
you.
understand what you're saying.
I hear you, but I don't hear you. He can say that, oh, he's been doing it since he's been in office. He lied out the 154,000 times. So what makes you think he'll listen to them?
Yeah, like I said, what's gonna happen is the
The
U.S. Marshals gonna march him up out of there.
And the board that's coming to lock him up, he gonna fire him. So before they lock him up, he gonna go, you're fired. And get a Marine to take him out, and he can't. I mean, it's
crazy.
Yeah, that's their game they play. It's a real monopoly. It ain't a game. Just like you play Monopoly on the board, they playing it in real life with real lives.
Yeah, but well, look, I got to go back to the COVID-19.
COVID. All right, what's up with
because the vaccination.
Oh man, they only trying to vaccinate black people.
Oh yeah,
in Africa.
Well, USA Today came up with a fact check.
Okay.
That said Melinda Gates didn't exactly say black people must be vaccinated for the COVID-19.
Did you say exactly?
Exactly, girl.
Well, what'd she say?
She ain't exactly say that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. Now what they said is, the claim was that she said black people must be vaccinated first for the COVID-19 at the healthcare workers.
We must be vaccinated first. The last one is not even really jumping on us like that, but we must be vaccinated first.
Well, USA Today said she didn't exactly say that. Yeah. All right. Well, let me tell you how my Facebook cousin Sherry Bryson broke it down.
Sherry,
she said, "Oh, so they didn't say that it must be given to black people first."
Right.
And she said, "I can't confirm or deny what they say or if they're, even telling the truth.
Right.
But whether or not they really said it, there's a lingering question that remains and should be addressed."
What's the question?
That question is, why would Bill and Melinda Gates actually think that black people would be willing to be vaccinated from the COVID-19 coronavirus?
Wow.
Especially given the history of black people being used as guinea pigs in some form or another throughout this country's history.
But that's my whole thing. Bill Gates and his wife are not doctors.
That's
How
right.
they trying to give somebody a shot? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm like this. I'm going to turn the needle on you. If you coming to give me a needle and you ain't a doctor and I think you trying to do something or put something in me, I'm going all the way into war mode.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. They oh my God, that is messy.
Big time. And see, what Sherry reminds us of is the Tuskegee Institute experiment, which is the main reason that pops into many minds when it comes to medical studies.
Right.
For 40 years, from 1932,
40 years.
40 years, from 1932 to 1972, black men were treated for bad blood, but were instead never given proper treatment. Instead, researchers wanted to see how syphilis affected the body when left untreated.
And they had tested out on the black person.
Yeah. So that was their thing, So why in the hell would we trust them?
You can't
to do
trust
anything for us.
Can't trust them.
That's what this is.
I'm Nsoromma.
Patrice Gibbs.
Tommy Tuck, Buddha Guns. What's good? Hey, yo, Jacoby. Hey, Jay. What's happening? You singing tonight? You gonna be singing tonight, Jay? Yo, Marv. Hey, like I said, you know who that is? That ain't me. That's the big chief. You know what I mean? He goes in. I mean, that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. Well, let's get ready to shut them down, bro.
All right.
Fun All Day by Mr. Gibbs.
Fun all day.
Let me remind y'all why we do what we do. All right. Do not mistake this work for the rantings of some wild-eyed militant Malcolm X wannabe. It is a result of intense study of our history and present condition and deep concern for the plight of our people. Nor is it the effort of some pseudo-intellectuals who through their own great wisdom and vision would be the savior of the black man. It is an effort to further the ideals fermented by Marcus Garvey. We are comparatively infants in the struggle, conduits of the wisdom and knowledge that was passed down. The ancestors gave us the plan and I wrote it down. The plan is not set in stone. It does not end all to be all. It's a proposal, a place to start. The black man may continue his self-destructive course, weak and ununified, exploited, and forever subject to the whim of the oppressor. This tragic situation may continue into an uncertain future, but never let it be said, no one, no member of the black race studied the main problem from a historical perspective and offered a solution to take us into the future. Never again, let it be said no one tried to point a path out of the abyss of oppression. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
And remember, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority who treat you as an option.
The Open Eye Radio Show.
Big ups, Nsoromma in the house with the technology. That's word for y'all. For those of you that didn't know, my man's on the case.
Yo, we just trying something out. We getting feeling it. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed. And thank you, Nsoromma, Martinez Perez.
No, everybody.
Thank you for joining us on the Open Eye.
Good. And you know, as to play, hit the like button, subscribe, share, spread us around, and we'll communicate and spread you around as we go around. You dig?
Yes, sir.
Y'all got
Peace.
Peace.